Hello everybody, this is Pastor Green. We're doing another Bible study, 2 Samuel chapter 16. If you have any questions for me, you can just comment below. And if you'd like me to come speak at your church, just send me an email. 2 Samuel 16 and verse 1. And when David was a little past the top of the hill, behold, Ziba the servant of Mephibosheth met him with a couple of asses saddled, and upon them 200 loaves of bread, and 100 bunches of raisins, and 100 summer fruits, and a bottle of wine. And the king said to Ziba, What meanest thou by these? And Ziba said, The asses are for the king's household to ride on, and the bread and summer fruit for the young men to eat, and the wine, that such be a faint in the wilderness may drink. In Matthew 10 it says, He that receiveth you receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. And he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. And whosoever shall drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water, only the name of the disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward. This is a compassion. This is if anyone gives a cup of cold water to one of these little ones who is my disciple, truly I tell you that person will certainly not lose their reward. 2 Samuel 16:3. And the king said, And where is thy master's son? And Ziba said to the king, Behold, he abideth in Jerusalem. For he said, Today shall the house of Israel restore me to the kingdom of my father. Then said the king to Ziba, Behold, thou art all that pertaineth to Mephibosheth. And Ziba said, I humbly beseech thee, that I may find grace in thy sight, O Lord, O king. Ziba is mentioned a couple of different times in the Bible. And apparently one of Mephibosheth's sons harbored bitterness and was glad David was running. Ephesians 4 says, And grieveth not the Holy Spirit of God, wherefore you are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God our Christ's sake has forgiven you. Hebrews 12 says, Look diligently, lest any man fall to the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness spring up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. I looked up here, what does bitterness do to a person? This is the latest research to give credence to the link between a state of mind and health. It is a recent study from Concordia University, and it's found constant bitterness can make a person ill. Holding on to bitterness can affect metabolism, immune response, and organ failure, and lead to physical disease. 2 Samuel 16:5. When the king David came to Baram, behold, thence came out a man with his family of the house of Saul, whose name was Shemiel, the house of Gera. And he came forth, and he cursed him as soon as he came. And he cast stones at David, and all the servants of King David, and all the people, and the mighty men were with his right hand and on his left. In Psalms 105 it says, When they went from one nation to another, from one kingdom to another people, he suffered no man to do them wrong. Yea, he reproved kings for their sakes, saying, Touch not mine anointed, and do my prophets no harm. Acts 23 says, And Paul, earnestly beholding the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all good conscience before God until this day. And the king's high priest Ananias commanded them, and stood by him to smite him out of his mouth. And Paul said unto him, God shall smite thee, thou white-whited wall, for to sittest thou to judge me after the law, and commanded me to be smitten contrary to the law. And they stood by, saying, Revileth thou God's high priest? Then said Paul, I wist not, brethren, but he was the high priest, for it is written, Thou shalt not speak evil in the ruler of thy people. Exodus 22 says, Thou shalt not revile their gods, nor curse the rulers of their people. 2 Samuel 16:7. And thus says Shemiel when he was cursed, Come out, thy bloody man, who without man of Baal. The Lord has returned upon all the blood of the house of Saul, and to those stead thou hast reigned. And the Lord has delivered the kingdom into the hand of Absalom thy son. And behold, thou hast taken thy mischief, because thou was a bloody man. He took David, and he started stoning him, and all the people that were with him. And then said Absalom, the son of Zeruiah, came to the king, Why should this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go over, I pray thee, and take off his head. And the king said, What have I to do with you, you sons of Zeruiah? So let him curse, because the Lord has said unto him, Curse David. Who shall then say, Wherefore hast thou done so? And David said to Abishai and all of his servants, Behold, my son son, which came forth of my bowels, seeking my life. How much more now this Benjamite do? Let him alone, and let him curse, for the Lord has bidden him. And maybe the Lord will look unto thine affliction, and unto thy Lord will recite me good for cursing this day. Matthew 5 says, Blessed are ye when men shall revile you, and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice, and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For such persecuted they the prophets which were before you. It's basically saying that if you're doing God's work, and people are mean to you about it, be happy, because that means that you're doing a good job. 2 Samuel 16:13. And as David and his men went by the way, Shmuel went along the hillside over against him, and cursed him as he went out, and threw stones at him, and cast dust. And the king and all the people that were with him came weary, and refreshed themselves there. Matthew 6 says, And the apostles gathered themselves together to Jesus, and told him all things, with what they had done and what they have taught. And he said to them, Count yourself apart to the desert place, and rest a while. For there were so many coming and going, that they had no leisure so much as to eat. And they departed the desert place by ship privately. Matthew 11 says, Come unto me, all ye labored and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn of me. For I am meek and lowly in heart. Ye shall find rest in your souls. For my yoke is easy, my burden is light. 2 Samuel 16:15. And Absalom and all the people of the men of Israel came to Jerusalem, and Ahithophel with him. And it came to pass, when Hushai the Archite, David's friend, was come to Absalom, that Hushai said to Absalom, God save the king, God save the king. And Absalom said to Hushai, Is this thy kindness of thy friend? Why ventest thou not with thy friend? And Hushai said to Absalom, Nay, but whom the Lord and his people and all the men of Israel choose, his will be, I am with him and I will abide. He's basically saying, I got two people that I care about, so I got to go with whatever the people say. And again, whom should I serve? Should I not serve in the presence of the Son, as I have served in thy father's presence? So will I be in thy presence? Then said Absalom to Ahithophel, Give counsel among you what you shall do. He's confused. He's like, I don't really know who I should serve, because I care about both of you. Proverbs 11 says, Where no counsel is, the people fall, but in their multitude of counselors there is safety. It's like, which way do I go? 2 Samuel 16:21. And Ahithophel said to Absalom, Go into thy father's concubines, which he had left to keep the house, and all Israel shall hear that thou art adorned of all thy father, and then he shall lay hands of all that would be strong. Remember, David left 10 of his concubines at the house to watch over the house. So this guy's telling Absalom, go there, sleep with his concubines, and by doing so it'll show you that you have authority. Then spread to Absalom a tent in the top of the house, and Absalom went into his father's concubines in the sight of all of Israel, in the counsel of Ahithophel, which he counseled in those days, who was a man who had inquired after the will of God. So was all the counsel of Ahithophel, both with David and with Absalom. Well guys, that's the video. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to put a couple links on the screen here. The bottom right is going to be the 2 Samuel Bible study. The top left is going to be the 1 Samuel Bible study. And the bottom left is going to be a video YouTube things you're going to like. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, click the bell, share it on social media, all those different fun things. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have yourself a great day.